Hey, how's it guys? Welcome to the installation guide for Wabbajack. Some of you might have seen on the channel some of my Skyrim Modlist showcase videos, and I get a lot of questions about how do I find the time to download 600 or 1000, and some modlists have over 2000 mods to actually mod Skyrim, and this is how I do it. So let's get started. What is Wabbajack? Wabbajack is just a curated list of mod lists that are created by people. So you can't just create a mod list and upload it to Wabbajack and have people download your list. This has been curated, so the Wabbajack people have actually gone through the lists and handpicked the lists as the best lists out there that are stable and run fine. If you click on the browse mod lists, so these are the individual mod lists that are available on Wabbajack for Skyrim Special Edition. There are other games, most of them are empty at the moment, so I think in future editions there might be a mod list for Cyberpunk, Dishonored, or so on. I think Dishonored has one. Fallout 4 has a couple. But some of them are empty, like Starview Valley has one, and The Sims have none. So, but for this, we are going to just look at Skyrim Special Edition. Legendary Edition has nothing, and so this Wabbajack won't work for you, but Special Edition has quite a few. So for us, you will go through each of these mod lists and actually go onto their website and actually have a read to find out if it's what you're looking for, as well as the requirements to actually run the mod, how much space it takes up on your hard drive. These are huge files, so it can be 100 gig, 200 gig. There are some lists that are small and have smaller rigs in mind, mid-range rigs. So you just have to have a look at each of these mod lists and choose which one suits your fancy. For us, and the purposes of this demo, is we are going to look at Living Skyrim 3, since I never looked at this, and it will be a good test to see what you have to go through to actually download and play a mod list. To download and play any of these mod lists is we need Wabbajack itself. So first you need to do is go to the website wabbajack.org and download Wabbajack, and then on your hard drive somewhere, not on the program files x86, outside of that. So your Skyrim needs to be outside of this folder, as well as Wabbajack itself. It's better to place everything on a external or separate drive than your C drive, but those that only have one drive, just place it outside of that folder. Since Steam as well installs its games by default within program x86 file, just move Skyrim out of that. So after Wabbajack has been downloaded, we're going to need to place it somewhere on the drive. So what you need to do is first create a folder and call it Wabbajack, and within that folder you will put the Wabbajack exe. If you look at these are just the different versions that from time to time when you open up Wabbajack, there will be an updated version, and then after you get an updated version, that will be the new folder that you will launch Wabbajack from. You see, you will get a new Wabbajack exe, and you can just run it from there. But for you won't have any of this stuff. You will just have the Wabbajack exe that you just downloaded, and you can just run it from there. What you will also need to do is create a second folder. The second folder will be called Wabbajack Modpacks. The name doesn't really matter. I call it Wabbajack Modpacks. These are the individual packs that you will install the instances of the mod lists. So as you can see, this is the Aldernari mod list, which is this one. There's Elysium Remastered, which I'm still busy with, which is this one over here. And what we are going to do is we want a new mod list, and for you perhaps will be your first mod list. But let's just go up. You can name these folders anything you want. It's instance 1, instance 2, but just for sake of clarity and that you won't get confused, it's better to name it according to what the modlist name is in the first place. So we'll create a new folder and we'll call it Living City or Living Skyrim. I don't need the 3. And within this folder, you will create a new folder and call it Downloads. That's all you will do for every mod list whenever you want to install a new mod list. And that's it for this step. When it comes to Skyrim, you need a vanilla version of Skyrim, since all these mod lists use a vanilla version of Skyrim. My Skyrim at the moment is not vanilla, since I used another mod list, not from Wabbajack, and I needed to change the installation folder of my Skyrim. So what I'm going to do to make sure it's vanilla, I'm going to delete Skyrim and then reinstall it. So let's just do that. Okay, now that I have a vanilla version of Skyrim, we can go on to the next step. The next step, of course, would be to just launch Wabbajack. When you launch it for the first time, you'll come up with this and everything will start to download. And don't worry, it's self-contained, so it's not installing anywhere else onto your computer, just into that folder itself. And then after it installs, this should come up. When it comes to Wabbajack, what you will also need is a Nexus mods account, as well as a Vector Plexus account. Now, both of these accounts that you need are free, but if you only have the free version for Nexus mods, every time it's downloading a mod, it'll ask you permission to download it. So once you give permission on that first mod, it'll download it, and when the next mod comes up, it'll ask you again, and it'll actually pause everything, and then so you'll have to click next for every single mod. And if you got a mod list that have over 2,000 mods, it'll take you forever. So I suggest you get a premium account for Nexus mods. Of course, you can do it without the premium account. It will just take forever. But the premium account will do it all automatically. You will just click on that play button to start the process, and it will automatically download everything. Vector Plexus account, all you need is a free account for that. Because certain mod lists have certain mods that are on that website. Vector Plexus is just another website, just like Nexus mods, where mods have been uploaded to. And once you have those accounts, click on the cog settings icon on the top there, and click on the login to the Nexus mods as well as Vector Plexus. And within this window, it will ask you to log in, and then once all that is set, you are ready to start downloading. To start downloading and installing your mod list, what you'll do is you'll click on the Browse mod list and just choose the list that you would like. As we said before, we are going for Living Skyrim. So this is the mod list button to download. So you'll just click on that, as well as click on the readme. Since each mod list has a readme that you'll have to go through, do not skip this step, because it will explain what you have to do to prep your vanilla version of Skyrim to work. Most just want a vanilla version of Skyrim. Others maybe want you to patch the vanilla version. So let's just go ahead and look to see what Living Skyrim wants us to do. Okay, oh, here we go. Okay, so they're asking, I have all of that, but that's why you need to go through all of this. So we'll go. That's all the normal stuff that I've done already for Skyrim. You will have to go through this and do the hard work and actually read. Because each list is different. You see, they say with a fresh install, launch Skyrim for the first time and then close it. Since I have a fresh install, let's do that now. Where's my Skyrim? Okay, we've done that. Now let's just go back to the installation instructions. Okay, after that, this is just the normal things that you have to create, and we can install. Okay, so for your list itself, we'll go back into the Wabbajack folder that you created earlier, and within that folder, if you've downloaded a Modlist for the first time, you should see a new folder created, which is downloaded _mod_lists. Inside that, you will find all of the Modlists that you have downloaded. If it's your first time, you will only get the one, which is Living Skyrim. Here it is. And we just double click this. Sometimes you'll get something like that. All you have to do is just close it. Here we go. Okay, from here it's asking for the installation location. So click on the 3 little dots to set the path, and this will be that folder that we created earlier, which is in which is not Wabbajack, but it's the Wabbajack mod packs folder, and in there choose your Living Skyrim or whatever modlist name that you created, and click on select folder. And as you can see, it also finds the downloads folder that you created with inside of that. And now all you have to do is click play and let it download. Now, online, I've seen a lot of people say to let it run overnight. While I agree with this in some senses, what I suggest you do is, once you start downloading the mod list, give it an hour. So within that hour, check it every now and again, every 15 minutes, since especially at the start of downloading, a lot of these mod lists will front load mods that might require you to manually either download it, or there might be some pop-up that pauses the download. So start it up and then wait for a while and check every 15 minutes. If a pop-up doesn't come up to say, hey, we're looking for this mod or that mod, or sometimes if you haven't been logged into Vector Plexus for a while, that Wabbajack will automatically, or Vector Plexus automatically logs you out. So once Wabbajack is starting to download, at the first Vector Plexus mod that it's starting to download, it'll pause the download and say, hey, you've been logged out of Vector Plexus, can you please log back in? So rather do that for the first hour, and after it's been running for an hour and everything seems fine, and that's when you can just leave it for overnight, and the next day everything should be up and ready for you. Now you can also just stop the downloading at any time during this process. Wabbajack will remember what is the last thing you downloaded and just continue from that, so don't be afraid if you need to just switch off your PC for some reason and just start it up the next day. That's all fine. It will just continue from where it left off. As you can see here, it's asking me to log into Vector Plexus again, as I stated earlier. So let's just log into that and click continue. After you've logged in again, let's just close this entire process and go back into your Wabbajack mod list folder and just double click on your mod list, which is for us Living Skyrim, and click play to continue. Okay, everything is running, so I'll let this thing run and I'll catch you at the end of this. Okay, we're back. So the download's complete. As you can see, you'll see this installation complete, which means you can close Wabbajack now. So let's just do that. After it's done, let's just go back to the readme to just make sure what is the next step. So let's just read. We'll say 3 to 4 hours. My download took about an hour and then about 2 hours to just unpack all the different mods and to just install everything. So ModOrganizer, everything looks normal. Configuration, okay, that's just for different monitors, ENB. Yeah, different ENBs, but it comes with its default one. Okay, Living Skyrim update. That's just if you want to update. That's not for us. So we can finally play the game now. Let's go back into our Living Skyrim installation folder now. And as you can see, everything is filled out as well as the downloads. This can be deleted since it's not being used anymore. But just keep in mind, if you want to update or do anything else, you're going to have to re-download all of those files again. But it's a way to get some space back. It's up to you. What's also good about Modlists, most Modlists, not all of them, is that they actually make a copy of your Skyrim game. So every instance is its own package, which means you can actually go into your Steam version of Skyrim and play that without affecting the modded list that you just downloaded. So far, every Modlist that I've used has used this approach, but I have seen mod lists that do not, that actually change the Steam version, but I think they're all switching to the stock game version. As you can see, the folder here, stock game, that's where your original vanilla version has been copied. And every mod list will have a mod organizer. This mod list has the mod organizer right here at the root level of the Living Skyrim folder. Other mod lists will have mod organizer in another folder. The readme that comes with the mod list will tell you where ModOrganizer is within their file structure. But let's just go to ModOrganizer and start it up. Keep in mind, the first time that you open up your modded game, it can take long, and it does take long sometimes, up to like 3 minutes, 5 minutes. But just be patient, it will start up. I'm just going to skip through this section and let you know how long it took for me. Okay, ModOrganizer is finally open. It took about 3 to 4 minutes during the loading of ModOrganizer. The first time I got this, but I just left it alone. It brought up a timed out trying again window, but that's just because the PC thinks that it's hanging and it's not really, it's just loading up. So just leave everything at least for about 10 minutes, and if it's still stuck, that's when you can maybe just relaunch ModOrganizer. When it comes to ModOrganizer, you need to do nothing. This mod list already has SkyrimSE selected. Whenever you play a modded game from the mod list, it will always ask you to run Skyrim via the SkyrimSE drop-down. Some mod lists by default keeps it on the vanilla version of your Skyrim, and then within the readme will let you know to change it before you play the game. But you don't need to add or do anything else except for changing that. Luckily for Living Skyrim, they set it by default. When it comes to adding your own mods to the mod list, it's all the same. All you have to go is to go to downloads and drag your mod within that and then import it into the game and activate it. Keeping in mind that if you have any issues and you go and ask the mod list author to help you fix certain issues that you might have, they don't really give support once you change their current iteration of their mod list by adding other mods, because that could conflict with their mods. So just keep that in mind. But if you're running into any issues when it comes to the installation or anything of a mod list, the best place to go is to the Discord of that specific mod list. You can either go to them directly as well as Wabbajack's Discord. In Wabbajack's Discord has each and every mod list that has official support, and you just choose which mod list you have and go into that chat and just ask for help with whatever problem that you might have. And I promise you, it hasn't taken me longer than 3 to 4 minutes for someone to reply and actually help me out. So now that everything is set, let's run Living City for the first time. As in the readme, they did say this will pop up and you have to say yes, as well as yes again. ModOrganizer locks as per usual. And once again, first time running a heavily modded Skyrim like this, it can take a while. I've installed this onto a normal slow hard drive, so it takes longer than on a SSD. But just be patient and the game will start up. Okay, as you can see, the game is starting up. Any Modlist that has an ENB attached to it will have in the top left like that the ENB series loading up. Just so that you are aware, while loading up this game, ModOrganizer did say that it timed out again and was retrying, but I just left it. It took about, I think about 3 minutes again, 3 to 4 minutes to actually load up. Usually goes faster, so I don't have any issue with this long load up. And there we go. You have successfully modded Skyrim to over 2,000 mods via Living Skyrim's Modlist. Let's just go to new. There we are in the game. Every Modlist starts differently. Some start the way you see here, and others in another way, in another part of the map as well. So some Modlists will let you know to actually go into the MCM and load certain stuff or change certain things. So here we go. So just exit. Where's the door? Bit dark for me, but that's all settings that I'll change. And there we go, we are in Skyrim proper and you are ready for your next adventure. So this concludes the guide for Wabbajack. If this guide has helped you out in any way, please hit the like button and ask me any questions that you might have in the comments. Cheers.
Hmm?